I remember the first time I sparred, I weighed 165 pounds, and they put me in the ring with a guy that probably weighed 130 pounds. And my first thought to my head was, I can't believe they're doing this. I'm going to kill this little guy.
Yeah.
And this little dude hit me so hard, I had no idea what happened to. I could not believe somebody that small could have that much power.
Yeah. Welcome to the Unbroken podcast with Chris Crosby. I have a good friend as a guest today. His name's Sheridan Page. He has been one of my CrossFit coaches for over 2 years now over at CrossFit Republic. And he's the kind of guy, if you were in a foxhole, you'd want him there right next to you because he would know how to get things done and get you out of that situation. He's just a jack of all trades. So I'm happy to have him here. So say hi, Sheridan.
Thanks for having me, Chris. This is an honor to have somebody come interview me. It's never really been done.
Well, it's been fun talking to you. I've had the pleasure of being on 2 teams with you, and just the training with you and the stories that you tell. I mean, you've had an exciting life, and you say you're an old man, but you're not even in your 40s yet.
I'm 39, but if I died tomorrow, there would be nobody could say I haven't lived a full life.
Yeah, and it's so true, and it's just almost anything we do, you have a story with it, and it's just you were a pro fighter. How many fights did you have?
I had 29 pro fights.
29 pro fights, and you tell a little bit about yourself, kind of your background, your history, and we can dive in there.
Well, I'm 39 years old. I had my first pro fight whenever I was 23. I retired about 6 years ago. I started off kickboxing, and that really wasn't my thing. I liked boxing a lot more, so I went to boxing and had a lot of fun doing that.
That's awesome. And of course, with doing those kind of things, you had to train a lot. So you've been training basically as long as you were in did you play sports in high school? Or?
I played football in high school and ran track. I was really a pole vaulter in high school.
Okay.
I played special teams in football. I wasn't really good at anything except for running fast and trying to run people over.
Yeah. The special teams, man, those guys are crazy because a lot of times that's all they're going to play, and their mission is to go out there and kill somebody.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to do. I actually played one season of semi-pro football, and all I did was special teams there.
And your job was to put the hurt on.
Just run down the field and try to knock somebody's helmet off.
And so you have a strong athletic background, but one of the fun things I like to hear is you used to be a bouncer too.
Yeah, I was a bouncer at a bar for 11 years. Yeah. And every time I thought I'd seen it all, there was always something that would top it. And people always ask me, what's the wildest thing you ever seen? Well, wild to me and wild to you could be 2 completely different things. Yeah. So I would say, ask me a question what you think is wild, and I will give you an answer.
I will answer appropriately.
Yeah.
Well, cool. So growing up, you did some sports. So what got you into decided to be a fighter?
Well, I would say I was probably an angry kid, and my dad was pretty good. He kept me out of trouble, and he kept me channeled. He was pretty good at directing me.
Okay.
So, and I always wanted to box, but my parents never really had enough money to put me in a place to go box or karate or anything. So, I was married and divorced whenever I was 21. Well, after that happened, I finally had the time and the money. So I just started. There was a gym literally a mile and a half from my work, and every day before to work, a guy at work said, "Hey man, there's a boxing gym right down the street," and I walked in there and met some pretty cool dudes, and
just started going toe to toe with them.
Yeah, in about 3 weeks, I was in the ring with them, getting beat up, and I kept showing up, and they kept beating me up, and one day it was equal.
I find that those kind of gyms, when the new guy shows up, you really have to pay your dues, like take your knocks.
You have to get in there, and the pros don't play favorites.
Yeah.
And I learned that, and because those guys, whenever they hurt me, they knew it, and they would back off a little bit. But I had a black eye for probably 3 years.
Wow. And so, like, I talked to some of my friends that might have started off. I have a buddy named Drew. He started off in those old muscle gyms, showed up as a punk 18-year-old, thought he was hot stuff, and no one really talked to him. And he went in, but he kept showing up, and he humbled himself a little bit. But they tend to take you under their wing and start really showing you after you show you're not some kind of knucklehead.
Yeah, once you show, I remember this one time we had probably 6 or 7 guys come in, and they were just some street punks wanting to, thought they were tough and wanting to spar. And I had been going to this gym probably 6 months.
Yeah.
And the owner said, "Hey, Sheridan, get in the ring with them." And I was like, "Oh man, I'm fixing to get my butt kicked." Because they were by far physically a lot bigger than I was.
Right.
And before you know it, I had all 6 of them.
Crying.
I mean, it was just one after another. They'd jump in there, and they literally wouldn't last a minute with me.
Yeah.
And it was just after 6 months of training.
Now, did the training change? I'm sure it changed some, but like when you walk in, did they have you doing the same stuff that you did right before you retired from fighting?
Whenever you first walk into a boxing gym and you're the new guy, pretty much they're just gonna put you on a heavy bag and
just let you hit it.
Just let you hit it, and they'll come over there and give you some pointers every now and then. And they really don't spend a lot of time with you until you continue to show up, and then they see that, hey, this guy might. And see, whenever it starts to suck and you keep pushing, those are the guys that they want around.
Yeah, and so what was your workout consist of once you, I guess, paid your dues? What would they put you through? Was there like a coach there that like took you under the wing, or you just kind of show up and do stuff? Or
there was a coach and other athletes. They'd help you out quite a bit. All the gyms I went to, all the other athletes were pretty cool guys, and we'd all like the workouts. First, you'd always get warmed up just like we do. And generally, your warm up would have been like hitting the heavy bag and the speed bag.
Okay. Then
you would do focus mitts with the coach maybe, and then you would spar, and after the sparring or before, everybody talks, and like you'd always have 1 or 2 athletes in your corner helping you out, and then the other guy'd have 1 or 2 of his buddies over there, and everybody's giving pointers, and then sometimes you'd even stop and, "Hey man, you got me good here," and just see what you can do.
That's
so
awesome. And so you just go in and box for a couple hours, and
you'd probably do. I think the most I ever did was 10 or 12 rounds in one day of actual sparring.
Okay. And when did you did you do a bunch of like amateur fights beforehand, or?
I really only had some karate tournament fights, and I probably had about 15 or 20 of those.
Okay.
And then I changed gyms, and that guy I think seen a lot of potential in me and seen me what I could do, and he's like, "Hey man, you got to go pro." So I went pro.
So you put that bug in your ear and you just started lasered in on it.
Lasered in, more hours in the gym every day, lifting weights. I kind of backed off the weights a little bit and focused more on boxing.
So I've never actually been in. I've only seen on TV, walk in and there's a bunch of guys hitting bags and stuff. Is that kind of what they're like, or like do they portray? I don't know. So this is like an ignorant question. I don't know what it's like to be in that, because you say you hitting weight. So is there like a rig where people can lift as well?
Generally not in a boxing gym. There's hardly any weights in a boxing gym. In a boxing gym, they're going to call it work, and you're going to go work on the bag.
Okay.
And so that's where you're going to get your endurance and your power. And not necessarily your skill work. You're going to get you can work on some skills on combinations and stuff like that, but you're going to really work on your skills with the coach, and that would be one-on-one, and they would have focus mitts.
Okay. And I'm assuming jump roping, because I remember on our competition, anytime there was jump rope, you're like, "I got this," and you like could do double unders all day blindfolded, basically.
Yeah, it would be. You would just do rounds and rounds of jump rope, and that's just endurance, shoulder endurance, and your calf endurance, because you need to be on your toes all the time, and your shoulders, and it's just more work. It's all about conditioning and boxing. I mean, it's conditioning. As soon as you start to run out of air, a real tough guy becomes a coward real fast.
Oh yeah. That I've never thought of it like that. It just, I mean, when you're gassed, you don't want to be in there.
You turn into a coward and you want to run.
Yeah. Now, what's it like? I mean, I've been hit before, but most fights that I ever got in when I was a child, I mean, I can say 18 and under. I mean, those lasted 5 seconds. You'd hit each other a couple times. One person would be down, and then it'd be over. The teacher would be pulling you down off of them. Like, what's it like? I can't imagine being hit and then keep coming at it. Like, this guy's going to hit me again. I guess that's where the sparring comes in. What was the first time you just got hit right in the nose and you just...
I remember the first time I sparred, I weighed 165 pounds, and they put me in the ring with a guy that probably weighed 130 pounds. And my first thought to my head was, I can't believe they're doing this. I'm going to kill this little guy.
Yeah.
And this little dude hit me so hard, I had no idea what happened to. I could not believe somebody that small could have that much power.
Yeah.
And but the sparring to the fight deal, a lot of that is just developing the mental toughness and learning how to take a punch and continue to go. You just don't develop that overnight, because whenever the first couple times I got hit, I did want to run. But you turn your back, and you have to train yourself not to do that, because that is not a natural response. Your natural response is to run and protect yourself by getting away.
Yeah, it's just, for me, I'm a big guy, so I'm usually can intimidate most people, but people that aren't intimidated by me could really hurt me. Because I don't like being in pain. I mean, I guess that even translates over to my workouts, and that's something that I'm training myself now. Like, if you're in the middle of a killer workout and you're hurting, like if you have 10 rounds of something and you're in round 7 and all you want to do is just lay there and stop.
Round 7 is almost over. Just keep pushing.
Yeah, you just keep pushing. And one of the great things about you as a coach, and people even say in your class, like, man, Sheridan always around like round 5 or 6, I start slowing down and he starts yelling, "Come on, keep going." I mean, but that's that mental toughness that you train.
That's the mental toughness that you have to keep going, because it's almost over. And you can't stop. As soon as you start to stop or slow down, the other person can see that, and then they will speed up. Because as soon as you start to show weakness, boxing is really all about acting.
Yeah. Just who's acting like the toughest guy.
You cannot. It can hurt, but you cannot show it, because if you show just a little bit of pain, they're going to attack that, and you can't show that you're tired. Even and your corner lies to you.
Yeah.
To make you believe, because you have to have that, because that guy's tired. He's breathing hard. Well, I'm breathing hard too, but you look over there and, that dude, he's huffing and puffing too, so he's feeling it the same way you are.
Well, like, we had that girl, I just forgot her name. I can't believe it. She won that fight, the MMA fight.
Ronda
Rousey. Just like her mentality, she wins the fight before she goes into it. That's what she talks about.
Correct.
And I wrestled in high school, and that was one of the things that I wish I had a coach that told me that, because I'd see a guy, and if I felt like that guy could beat me, I'd already lost.
Correct.
But if I saw a guy that might have been a little chubby, and I was just like, I got this, and I usually did pretty well. But it's when I saw someone that was just like, oh man, that guy's probably he's a little taller than me, he's a little stronger than me. But you have to go into it. And even to approach a workout, that's sometimes why I used to see a workout, if there was something like burpees or something, that body weight movement is something that I wasn't good at, I'd be like, oh, I'm not going to do well in this one. And that's something that I've been training myself. I mean, that's why I did my burpee mile, because I hated burpees. And if there's 50 burpees in a workout, I was defeated before I started. So I did that burpee mile, and now it's like 50 burpees. That's nothing compared to the 600 I did in 2 hours. So, I mean, is that...
Yeah, a fighter, if you notice, if you've watched very many of them on TV, they're almost arrogant.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to call them arrogant. And part of that is they've had to develop that personality. That's not naturally them on most of them. Most guys probably could be naturally arrogant, but those guys, they have to put themselves up on such a high pedestal so that they have that confidence at all times. 'Cause as soon as they lose their confidence, I can see in anybody, as soon as they've lost their confidence and they start to fail. And as a coach at CrossFit, I try, as soon as I see that confidence go away, I'm right over there telling them they're doing good.
So you're in their corner.
I'm in their corner because I want everybody to succeed that I'm coaching, and I want everybody to be better than I was.
So when you started fighting, is that you just, well, I'm going to start being a bouncer too, or how did that?
Okay, I started becoming a bouncer because at a time in my life, I needed extra money,
right.
And I work for a living now. I'm a diesel mechanic, but I wasn't going to go work on a side job where I had to do physical labor. So I was like, I have skills. I want to go use them skills and make an easy $80 a night.
Yeah.
So
throwing drunk people out of a
drunk people out of a bar.
Wow. And you made a lot of, I imagine in that world you made a lot of friends, a lot of buddies, and do you have any experiences while you were being a bouncer and you see those guys in the bar? Did you ever have to go toe to toe with any of those guys that you know that could probably bloody your nose?
There was a couple times that I had some old boxing friends that come out and they got drunk, and really all I had to do was just talk to them because they respected me as a fighter too. Yeah. And because they might have been able to win, but they knew who I was and that they would
leave hurt too.
They were going to be in for it. They knew it was going to be work.
Yeah.
So
it's usually those hotheads that think that no one could. Those are the ones that might swing on you then.
It's usually not the drunk person that you have the issue with. It's usually his buddy that wants to, because you're ruining their good time because you're throwing their friend out.
Yeah.
So you always have to have somebody watching the side people.
Yeah, that's interesting. And how many bouncers would usually be? On
the busiest night, we might have 10 to 15.
Oh wow. Yeah,
but I mean, we had 700 to 1,000 people there.
Oh yeah, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
You'd have to have that. So when did you get back into lifting? Because you're strong.
Yeah, I've always been naturally strong. My dad had me lifting weights whenever I was a kid, but I've never really completely abandoned lifting. But whenever I quit boxing, I was still pretty small, 175, 180 pounds. Yeah. And I was always the little guy in school. I mean, the little guy in school. And I was tired of being little, and I wanted to be big. Okay. So I ate probably 8,000 calories a day for probably 2 to 3 years. Wow. And put in probably 2 hours a day following Arnold's encyclopedia.
So you just opened that up and followed it to the T
and started lifting heavy weights.
I mean, isn't it funny how it's just you put the work in, you put the nutrition in, you start seeing results. Like, so what did your 8,000 calories consist of? That's a lot of food, especially if you're eating good 8,000 calories. It's not like, so you're just eating burgers and stuff.
It wasn't always good food, but one Halloween we were, this was probably a year before I started CrossFit, or right before I started CrossFit. Whenever I was at my biggest, I was probably 225 with 8% body fat or something. Wow. We were at Rib Crib, and there was a kid. Whenever I got up, he was like, "Hey man, how'd you get so big?" Yeah. And I was like, "Well, it takes about 2 hours a day in the gym." And I said, "What you ordered at your meal, order 2 of them, eat that, and then clean everybody's plate off." And he's like, "That's what I got to do." I was like, "At every meal." Every meal, every day. And then 2 hours a day lifting heavy weights.
Now, what I've never looked at Arnold's encyclopedia. What is that? I'm sure it's just like, what is it? Like what?
Ridiculous amounts of heavy weight. It was a lot of the combinations he did was chest and back.
Like superset kind of stuff?
A lot of supersets, like you'd do a set of bench press, and then you'd go do a set of pull-ups. Okay. And it was pretty tough. I mean, there's several times I threw up just from his workouts because they were just horrible, and I couldn't always follow his very close because they were so tough.
Wow. I mean, I watched a documentary about Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he's like, no one's going to outwork me in the gym. And he went in there and destroyed himself.
Every day he destroyed himself.
Yeah. And I mean, it showed. He was Olympian or
Mr. Universe or Mr. Olympian 7
Yeah.
times, I believe.
Wow. And so you started putting some size on, like, so you went from 160 to 225.
Yep.
And just eating and muscle. And what brought you to CrossFit?
My brother Luke, he was doing CrossFit, and I was pretty much hit all my goals in the weightlifting gym. And my brother, he's like, hey man, you got to come try this. So, and I'd been out of really fighting for probably 2 years, but I still really liked the challenge, and I'd gotten really big, and so I went and tried it one Saturday morning at CrossFit Springfield and just got destroyed.
Do you remember what your first workout was?
It was a 20-minute AMRAP, and
That's, for those that don't know, it's as many reps as possible in 20 minutes. So you just keep working for 20 minutes, no stopping.
it was it was wall balls, sumo deadlift, high pulls, ring push-ups, and a run. Okay, only like a 200 or 300 meter run.
Okay.
And don't take this as sexist, but as my mentality is then, I got lapped by a girl
Yeah. And
like 2 rounds, by over 2 rounds, and I was straight up heartbroken.
do you remember who it was?
It was Kathy Metz.
Yeah. she's a beast. She's
And-
awesome.
Yeah, and so and she remembered that because it was like probably another 2 months before I really signed up. I told my brother, was like, how'd you like it? I was like, man, that girl just put a whooping on me. I couldn't believe how bad she beat me.
Yeah.
And I mean, she's just running circles around me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got to do this if she can put a whooping on me
Yeah.
that bad, because she was throwing weight around. And
Some people that I talk to that have kind of like that competitive background, either if it's sports or fighting, that the way that those workouts are structured, where ultimately you're competing against yourself, but you're putting your times on the board. You're going to battle with those other people in your class. You're all working out together, and sometimes you pick people and you chase them. You're going to try to beat them, and so they find that competitiveness that they miss in doing a workout, like putting themselves up against somebody. I mean, no one at the end of the workout, no one really cares who was faster. But I have certain people that I'm like, okay, I beat them today. It was a good day. You feel good about it. And so, like, did you find that itch that you kind of, and it's not the same as going 12 rounds in a ring with someone, but still, like,
no, it's not the same thing, but I found the competitive side of it, and of my 3 years at CrossFit Springfield, I beat Kathy in one workout, and that was Fight Gone Bad.
there you go, Fight Gone Bad.
I beat her by like 8 reps or something.
She is awesome. She was one of the first coaches for me over at CrossFit Springfield East when I was taking the Learn To class. Mel and Jeremy coached a lot of them, but she would sub every now and then. And then my wife came up with me to do her first workout ever. She just wanted to try it out. And Kathy was her coach, and it was like a Murph kind of workout, but it was broke up a little bit. But there was 300 sit-ups and 100 pull-ups and 200 air squats, and then you had to run like a mile before and after. I mean, it wasn't Murph, but it was a brutal workout, and it was my wife's first one. So Kathy really took the time and coached her through the workout. My wife was an endurance athlete, and she loved it. It was her jam. But Kathy was really great. So Jen always goes and says hi to Kathy at certain like competitions and stuff we see now, because Jen just remembers Kathy as her first coach, and it was really awesome with her.
Kathy, she's a pretty cool girl, and she is an awesome coach. Yeah. And I mean, I believe she's been to regionals on a team event.
I think with Macy.
With Macy, I believe. But I mean, she's
she loves glitter.
She loves glitter, and she loves to put in some work and make some boys look bad, I believe.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. So you did your first workout at Springfield and got your ass whooped, and your butt whooped. Sorry about that. And just knew that's something you're doing. And then you talk about your brother. He was doing it. Now, was your brother pretty athletic growing up too? Your brother's pretty tall.
Yeah, he's 6'3" or 6'4", probably 230.
Yeah.
So he's we played sports. He played football, and we both played baseball.
Okay.
And then we wrestled and fought all the time, and I mean, I believe we even raced BMX bicycles together.
Okay.
So
now, did he do anything after high school, or I need to get back in shape and started working out at a gym or something?
I think my dad instilled the competitiveness in us. So we both, and we're just a year apart. So everything was a race when we were kids.
That's awesome.
Everything was a race. So, and to me, if my brother Luke can do this, I can do it.
Can too.
So, and I mean, we still today send texts back and forth of what we've done. And I mean, we're almost 40, and
no, where does he work? Does he still at Springfield or?
Well, he was at Springfield until just about a month ago or so, and I think he kind of ran out of time, and he put a gym in his garage.
Okay, just killing it in the garage right
yeah.
now. One of my favorite memories of you is you guys were a team at Tanger 2 years ago. Was it? Yeah, it was 2 years
2 years ago.
And you guys were doing this workout, and I could see that competitive, like, I better not let my brother down kind of thing. And I don't remember it was the last workout of the day, and I saw you throw up, but you caught it in your mouth, swallowed it, and just kept going. And for me, I was like, nope, I would have been done. But you were just like, and then you're just like, oh, I couldn't let my brother down. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was the very last workout, and we absolutely destroyed that workout. And it was by far the funnest workout for us because that was a workout we actually got to work together.
Yeah.
And we could yell at each other and carry each other along during that workout. So
that had like the deadlifts with the fat bar and the double under
and the snatch with the
Yeah. That one was pretty fun. My wife and Crystal did really well on that one too. That was fun for them. Speaking of Tanger, so I was at home one day and my phone rang and I was like, what is Sheridan calling? Because I don't think you ever called me at this point. You've maybe texted me a few times, and I was like, I answered, and he's like, hey, what are you doing? Oh, just at home eating dinner. He's like, what are you doing for Tanger? And I was like, well, I was going to go cheer my wife on. He's like, hey, how about you be my partner? I want to have fun at this one, and I know I had fun with you. And I was like, Sheridan, I can't do pull-ups then, because I couldn't do pull-ups at that point. I'm like, I can't do toes to bar. And he's like, I don't care, I can do them. Let's do it. And I was just like, why do you want me as your partner? And he's like, and it stood out to me. You're just like, I've done a lot of these competitions, and I want to have fun at one. Like, because I mean, you'd obviously had fun at other ones, but can you?
What I mean is I've taken 29 professional boxing fights, way too serious. My very first HOA after doing CrossFit for 6-8 months, signed up RX. My entire team hated me.
I think I had someone at this HOA come up and remind you about it too.
Yeah. So my pressure is always want to be the best that I can be and make everybody around me do what they're capable of. A lot of people cheat themselves, and I wasn't going to let anybody cheat themselves, because if we can do RX in the gym, my thought was we should do RX at HOA.
Yeah.
Needless to say, the games athletes showed up and put a whooping on all of us. But we had a lot of fun, and I love to compete, and I've taken every competition way too serious, and I put a lot of pressure on myself. And finally, it was getting to where it wasn't fun anymore. So I was wanting to have a lot of fun, and I didn't care if I got last place. My whole goal was to go there and cut up and talk trash and wear spandex.
What was our team name?
What was it?
The Trash Talkers.
Yeah, the Trash Talkers.
So we signed up, and Sheridan was like, okay, we're gonna wear spandex. And I'm like, and I still probably weighed in the 300 range at this point, because I hadn't really locked in my diet at this point, and I was just like, okay. So Sheridan goes and gets a pair of, or your wife goes and gets you a pair of spandex, and it's not even like the men's Under Armour spandex. This is women's yoga Under Armour, and you just like sent me a picture. He's like, all right, I got mine. So I tell my wife, I was just like, oh man, I have to go get tights. And so I went and got a pair of blue, just crazy tights. You were bright yellow, and we got these haters are gonna hate shirt, and But we had Macy did these practices for us, and you drove your Harley over to the practice in your yellow spandex pants, and it was awesome. We had so much fun. And then so I wore my spandex to Tanger, and I put them on, and I was just like, okay, here we go. And the funny thing is my nutrition coach at the time, Dylan, I had him on a few episodes ago. His fiance wife now comes up, and she's like, do you see that guy over there in the spandex? And Dylan's like, yeah, he's actually one of my clients. And she's like, oh, he looks great. And I'm like, and the first workout was thrusters. So I'm doing these thrusters in this spandex. It was, but I had a ton of fun. That was a lot of fun. And we did all right.
Yeah, we did really good.
What did we get in the strength? Like
we got fourth, I think, in the strength. So,
yeah.
And not bad for a couple guys that just went out to have fun. And I think we got ninth in another event.
Yeah.
So
we went out and we competed. And I mean, like there was, I think, toes to rings that you're just like, all right, I guess I got to do all of these. And then the first 2 minutes we had to do as many pull-ups as possible.
Yeah.
And you did 52 in 2 minutes or 51 or something.
Yeah, I did
like
somewhere in there.
I mean, just me and Nate did a competition a while ago, and we had 3 minutes to accumulate as many as we can. And we both we did like 37 in 3 minutes. So, I mean, that was awesome. So we had a ton of fun doing the competition. And then down the road, we were like, Matt was wanting to do HOA. And HOA is Heart of America. It's a big competition here in this region. And he asked me to be on the team. I went to a meeting that we did to kind of put teams together. And I didn't feel like there was going to be enough girls and to do the competition. But Matt was really determined to put a team together. So he asked me, and he asked you, and he asked these awesome girls from our gym, and a lot of us, myself included, didn't feel like I was really ready to do HOA, but we stepped up. And the cool thing about Sheridan is he really kind of rose to the occasion as the leader of our team, because I mean he's an experienced veteran, you know, and but some of those workouts that you led us through, like what let's talk about HOA. What was how did you feel about that?
HOA was, this last HOA was the first time I've ever went to the dark place 2 times in one day. 2 times in one day is miserable. I don't even want to go there once a month. And I went there 2 times in one day. The first workout and the last, and well, with me and Denise first thing in the morning.
Oh yeah.
I went to the dark place, and then when us guys did that triplet.
Yes. Where you did
the cleans and chest to bar.
Chest to bar.
I went there again.
That was fun to do, and then I did the shoulder overhead burpee bar over, but and then Matt did the snatches and overhead squats.
Correct.
And we did all right on that. I think that was one of our better scores on that. What do you think of the girls on that team? Like, they were setting records and doing stuff that they never.
Yeah, and that was one of the best things I was really wanting to hope for, is I knew I was probably the superior athlete on the team, but I wanted everybody to step out. And just like my very first HOA, we went RX and everybody on the team PR'd on something. Yeah. And that's what I was hoping for on this team, is to get everybody to step out of the box. And like Denise, I was super impressed with her, because as I've coached her a few times, and I've always seen her hold herself back. Yeah. And we actually got to see Denise go to a place that I don't think I've ever been.
No. You got to use some of your old fighting recovery techniques on her.
Yeah. Denise, I was super proud of her, and I was actually super proud of everybody. I mean, Kayla, she ripped out some GHGs like I probably would have been doubled over and crying. Teresa did a lot of things that she had never done before.
Just got heavy on weight that she'd never even thought about touching before.
Yep, moving weight that she had never touched before. Yeah. So I think that I hope that they took that as a good learning experience and realized what they're really capable of whenever they put themselves on the spot.
And as a coach, I mean, that you can't ask for anything more than that.
Nope. That's all you can do, is ask for everybody to give everything. You can't ask for, all I can ask for is 100%. You can't ask for 110, because you can't give 110. You can only give 100.
Yeah.
So
That's right. 110 is just
You're dead at 110.
Yeah. And just let's talk about that dark place, because a lot of people talk about going there. I mean, it really is. You see black almost.
You start to. It's almost you're on the verge of blackout.
Yeah.
Is what I'm going to say. And I was. You've witnessed this one. I did completely black out at Shred Fest a few years ago.
Yes, you did.
And I stood and looked at a barbell for 2 minutes.
Yeah, and weight that's normally not a big deal for you, but that's the end of a long couple days.
Yep.
It was the last workout, right?
Yeah, and a heavy workout.
Squat snatches, right?
Squat snatches and overhead squats.
Yeah. Was it there?
145.
Oh man. And you remember that workout because I was in the stands and you heard me yell, "Sheridan, my 5-year-old can do that."
Yeah, and that came from I was coaching Lori Thompson one morning, and she had like a 5-pound kettlebell and was acting like it was killing her. And so I had to yell from across the gym. I had to give her a little bit of motivation.
That's awesome.
Lori, my 5-year-old can do that. And I don't even have a 5-year-old. But she kind of threw it down and went over there and grabbed something bigger. Because, I mean, she's coming around. But, I mean, she really realized, that she should have been trying more.
Now, people, like, that's something that you're known for as a coach, where you see someone that's just flying through something that we're supposed to struggle on, and you kind of sneak over there and put some weight on. And you tell them, you don't surprise them with it, but hey, I'm going to put some more weight on there.
Yeah.
Like, what's your approach on that? I mean, like, how do you approach that when you feel like, because that's, as a coach, you want someone to not make it super easy, but not feel like it's going to crush them.
Yeah. If you're not doing what you're capable of, you're cheating.
Yeah.
So, and cheating reps is cheating.
Yeah.
Cheating yourself on weight is not only cheating you, but it's cheating everybody else, because you're flying through a workout making it look easy.
Yeah.
And other people are struggling with weight that they're capable of, or the proper weight. And it almost can kind of mess with somebody mentally, because they're seeing you fly through a workout and they're struggling. And but they're the ones getting the workout, not you.
And sometimes people don't realize they're cheating.
Correct.
They're cheating themselves, because they get in there and they're just really intimidated by weight, and they don't realize that
they're capable
of. And so it's that kind of that give and take. You're just like, hey, let's try that, because I know some of the new people in the gym, because we've had quite a few new people, and some of my friends, and they're just like, the workout says this X weight, and they're just like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, well, let's use this time to warm up and get to a weight that it's going to be hard for you, but something that you can manage.
Yeah, one of the things I really noticed, most guys usually go too heavy because their pride is in the way.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of girls, they usually go under the weight because they're afraid that they're going to get big from lifting weights, and
you don't get big from
and
lifting weights.
They're not going to get big doing the workouts that we do. But and they're afraid to say I can lift this much, and when they should be proud of it, because the world has told them that they need to be skinny or whatever, and they've believed it. And I want them to be the workhorse, not
Well, strong is beautiful.
That's right.
And skinny and weak, at least in our world, no one wants that. You want a girl that can go in and move some weight and is confident in themselves, and they, you do get tone as you lift, but the women that get really bulky, they're eating tons of protein. They're eating 8,000, 9,000 calories a day, and most of those girls, I tell them, well, are you eating 9,000 calories? Well, no, then you're not going to get bulky. Now, you talk about how the bros go in there and they throw a bunch of weight on there. That's just as bad as not putting enough on, because they get out there and do 2 and then sit there and...
Yeah, they're not getting their capacity. You might be able to deadlift 400 pounds 2 times, but today the workout is 20 times. So we need to do 300 pounds instead of 400 pounds 2 times, and stand there and look at the bar.
Because work over time, that's where you get the benefits. Like, so what? You can move 400 twice. But you're going to get a lot more work in doing 320 times or
Correct.
275.
Yep.
And that's where the real strengths. Now, what is your approach with like nowadays that you're not? I mean, you're coaching a lot, and are you doing any specific training for?
Right now, I'm kind of in a weird spot right now. I'm really getting so much out of coaching.
Yeah, you said that like you're scratching that itch right now, like
with coaching. I'm scratching the itch with coaching because I love being able to see other people succeed.
That's awesome. When did you realize that?
I realized that it didn't take very long right after I started coaching. I really enjoyed seeing other people do things that they didn't think that they could do.
Right. And just what I know that for me, with my experience with my wife, she coaches, and if someone comes up after a workout and tells her thank you or those tips, that really makes her day. That kind of because she puts a lot of work into the coaching. I mean, it's a lot of knowledge and stuff like that. And so, like, do you have any like stories on that? Or
well, coaching coaching is almost a workout in itself.
Yeah.
Because we do competitors training at 7 a.m. and everybody wants me to work out afterwards, and I'm drained.
Oh yeah.
And from giving my energy to these people that I want to lift up, and I believe I am lifting them up, and they're seeing it, and so I'm like, I need a break, guys, and I really haven't ate yet because I get up at 4.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's early. That 5 a.m. class, man. So you do the 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. normally, right?
Yeah.
And then sometimes you'll stick around if they need someone to coach it, like
I've done coach the competitors a couple times. Do the 9 a.m. sometimes, not very often, and I've done the evenings just a few times. The evenings are just a little too big for me. I like to spend a little bit more one-on-one time with the people.
Yeah, the 5, 6 a.m. I think the biggest, the 6 a.m. will get maybe 10 people.
10 to 15 is the biggest.
Yeah. And so which is interesting for me because a gym usually they have their groups. And I know some of the 5 and 6 a.m. people, and I know more of the 9 a.m. people. And then I really know the PM because that's when I work out. What is and I know you know a little bit of everybody because you're a coach. You've coached all of them or got to know other people. What's how do you see the difference between those morning classes and those PM classes?
The morning classes, the people that work out in the morning are different. They're a little more lively, I would say.
Really?
They have a little more energy because they're up and ready to go first thing in the morning. The people in the evening have generally worked all day, and they kind of come in a little bit tired.
Okay.
I would assume this.
Yeah.
They don't seem to have the energy as the 5 a.m.ers. They come in generally full of it and cracking jokes and.
That's awesome because I would assume like everyone walk in like. Haven't given them a coffee and they wake up like in the middle of the workout. I know that's happened to me before.
No, a lot of times they'll wake up 15, 20 minutes before they're supposed to be there and they're ready to go.
That's awesome. I guess when you're used to that habit, because those people, they do it 5 days a week.
Yep.
And you split those classes with Lily too. So it's you and Lily, and my wife does them every now and then.
Yes, if me or Lily can't cover it, she covers the 5 a.m.s for us.
Yeah, it's my fault she can't do 6:30 because I have to be at work by 7. So you just adopted two kids.
2 little ones. On October 25th, we adopted a 2 and a 3-year-old.
So how's that changed your life?
Well, we've had them since they were 3 months old.
Okay.
So it's just now it's official. So it's kind of a relief, and there's a lot less things that we have to do now. So it's freed us up a little bit on what we can do with them and where we have to go and where we have to be and stuff. There's no more court, no more social workers coming to the house, no more lawyers, James.
Yeah, no. Yeah, we just had him on.
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, one thing he said. He's like, someday in your life, you don't know it yet, but you'll always find that you'll need a lawyer sometime. So that's so you got two. How old are they now?
They're 2 and 3.
2 and 3.
Yeah, and they don't know any difference. We've had them each since they were 3 months old.
So you're just mom and dad.
We're mom and dad. It's all they know.
Yeah, that's awesome. They I remember. I think you adopted them at HOA, right?
At the day HOA started, we adopted them that morning.
And you were working nights then too, didn't you? Just work overnight?
I just worked overnight. Got up, got a couple hours of sleep, went to court and adopted them. Went to HOA.
Went to HOA Friday.
Killed a couple workouts.
Yeah, that first day, that was a fun one. I don't even.
It was the front squats and max snatch.
Yeah, that one, and then toes to bar, right?
Yeah.
We did good. You almost hit. Did you hit 205? I don't remember.
200 or 205, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I PR'd
on a
that
power
one.
snatch.
Yeah,
so.
you just like ripped it and gripped it, man. That was awesome.
My legs was junk from the front squats. So
yeah, the 20 toes to bar and then 20 front squats.
30 front squats.
Yeah, 30 front squats. That was brutal. One thing that so what does Sheridan like to do to kind of unwind? I know we've talked Clash of Clans.
Clash of Clans, man, I don't really love it. I've had to back off because I've tried to straighten my priorities. There's 2 things I really like to do. One of them, most people could understand, is I like to get on my bike and ride my bike.
Yeah.
Me and my dad went on a 3,100 mile motorcycle trip over the summer.
That's awesome.
And I like to cut firewood.
Really? So you just got a big old chain. They're right next to each other.
Yeah.
So they keep, that's how you got your 2 important things right next to each other. Well, explain where I'm at. I went to his house. I can take my podcast basically anywhere. It's just a laptop, a couple mics, and we kind of go for it. But we're in his garage. We're in his man cave, so he's got kind of like a desk in here, and but he's got his motorcycle covered and got his chainsaw over there. So that's so like one of the things that I like to ask people, and as a coach, I'm sure you do get asked this. So a new person comes in the gym and they ask you for advice. So like 3 things for anyone that wants to start lifting or eating healthy. Because in the Unbroken podcast, and I call it Unbroken podcast because, I mean, that's a saying in our world. Hey, let's do this workout. I'm broken. Let's do that. But as in life, we're trying to live. We're just going to keep moving forward no matter what. I mean, we're living unbroken. I am unbroken, and you can apply that to anything in life, either spiritually, physically. Just it's always a goal to live towards. But if someone comes and says, "Hey, I want to start this," what 3 things would you give them as advice?
One thing I want to say, very first thing is keep showing up. Another thing I want to tell them, one of the best things they did was even just walking in.
That's the hardest part.
That's the hardest part, is walking in and asking for help. The second thing is keep showing up. I would also say listen to the coach, because a lot of these people that come in, somebody has told them that they can't do it.
Yeah.
Or they've always felt that they couldn't do it.
Right.
And we're all made out of the same stuff.
Yeah.
So if I can back squat 300 pounds, so can Chris Crosby.
Yeah.
So
it just takes work.
Yeah. And we're all made out of it. Everything is the same. So it's just mental toughness and a little bit of conditioning.
Yeah. And just like you said, sticking with it. It's just coming in and putting your time in and setting those goals. Yeah. That's one thing I like to tell people. I'm just like, set realistic goals, like, and just keep moving forward. I mean, you're going to get there. I hate running. But I lost 90 pounds running, and I ran a marathon, and I still hate running. And I did my interview with James, and I decided I'm going to run another half marathon. And I was like, why am I doing this? I hate running, but I know the benefits of training endurance. It's going to help me, and I'm going to kind of follow his training plan and kind of what he talked about. But I'm excited to do that, but just consistency. Now someone says, Sheridan, I need help with my nutrition. What are kind of some advice that you'd give there?
One of the biggest things is, and this is a weakness for me and probably for most people, because we live such busy lifestyles is try to stay away from fast food.
Oh yeah.
I eat Subway. That is my fast food that I try to go to, or salad somewhere, but a lot of it can still be junk. My biggest deal is just try to eat at least 2 good meals a day.
Yeah.
And I used to really have to watch my weight whenever I boxed, so I'm almost past the watching my weight part. I want to enjoy life a little bit.
That dad bod.
Yeah. I was on rice and chicken for years.
Yeah.
But now I just kind of, if I have a competition or something coming up, I will go up to a Walmart and I buy fajita meat.
Yeah.
And then a bag of vegetables, and I throw it in a stir fry, and that's what I eat 2 times a day. Yeah. And in 2 weeks I can notice a difference.
Isn't that funny how once you start cleaning up your diet, you really do start I mean, even in the gym, like the last 3 weeks I haven't really been eating well. And my scale hasn't really gone up, but I haven't been losing the weight like I used to. I was on par to hit 100-pound weight loss really soon, and I'm stuck. And it's because I haven't been eating clean. But I've been eating good this whole week, and I've noticed this whole week, like, my workouts have been awesome.
Yeah, it doesn't take long.
I'm like, oh man, that's why I've been, because I eat 5 times a day. I'll eat breakfast, and then I'll have a snack at 10, noon, 3, and then after the workout.
I guess my biggest thing that I really tell everybody is what is super easy to control is cut out the soda pop and the bread. Yeah. And those 2 things is night and day difference for me.
Yeah. Now, did you say like all bread or just white bread or
all bread and soda pop?
Okay.
And that's the number one deal to me is get rid of that, and you'd be surprised on how fast, because the bread really bloats you up.
Okay.
And just cutting it out in a week, you might lose 2 inches off your waist.
That's awesome. So do you still do like sweet potatoes or rice?
I like I'm just go up and buy a bag of vegetables, mixed bag of vegetables. Stir fry is usually what I buy, but I don't use a stir fry, and fajita meat, and I just put it in a wok.
And just go to town. You don't add all the soy sauce or anything in there?
I add a little bit of soy sauce because I got to have some flavor.
Yeah, it's really bland otherwise.
I mean, I'm not perfect.
Oh, yeah.
But,
I don't think anyone really – I mean, like, we always strive to be perfect, but I think if – I talked to Dylan about this. He said that if people take, like, a Tupperware of just stuff to, like, Christmas – like, if you can't kill yourself. You're just not going to be happy. You have to have balances. There's moderation in all things.
Well, one of my favorite meal is bacon and eggs.
Yeah, bacon.
Bacon and eggs.
You can put any word after bacon, and it's probably going to be one of my favorite meals.
I mean, like 4 pieces, 4 eggs, and 4 to 6 thick slices of bacon.
Yeah, the thick cut with pepper.
If it's not thick cut, it's not worth having.
it's just brittle at that time.
Yeah.
So, well, man, is there? Do you do much on social media?
I'm on Facebook every now and then. It's just with the kids and some other things I do. Okay. It's just not something that I'm glued to all the time.
Well, I guarantee if any of the listeners want to go in and get an awesome workout at CrossFit Republic, 5 a.m., 6 a.m.
5 a.m., 6 a.m. And if anybody ever wanted to send me a message on Facebook, I would return it.
Awesome. So Sheridan Page, and I'll put a link in the show description and stuff like that with any questions you might have. But anything else you want to share? I mean, can you believe it's almost been an hour?
I can't believe it's almost been an hour now.
Yeah, it's just one thing I just love sitting and talking with you. It's just like I could sit and talk to you all day. It's just the stories that you have and the life experience, and it's just I'm glad to have you in your corner. And I mean, are we gonna get the band back together for Tanger?
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
I mean, I'm a lot stronger and thinner now, and I was talking to.
You can do pull-ups now.
I can do pull-ups.
You can do pull-ups.
Don't ask
me
about toes to bar. I did one at HOA.
Unofficially did one.
Yeah, you were giving me crap saying I didn't see it. It's not part of the competition. I ran up and did that one toes to bar, and then I ran up and had a snatch, and I was like freaking out because I just did my first toes to bar, and like you and Matt were just like getting focused on doing the snatch, and you guys were breathing hard because you just both killed yourself on front squats, and I'm like, I did a toes to bar. You guys are both like, shut up, we're gonna snatch now. But well, thank you so much for being on the show. Any last parting words of advice for everybody?
I would say believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Believe in yourself.
Just
and don't let somebody tell you can't do it, that you can't do anything. I think my dad, whenever I was a kid, told me not to do something just so I would do it, just so I would do it.
And he knew that it would.
And he knew I would. So
that's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sheridan. Loved having you on the show.
Thanks for having me, man. It's been awesome.
All right, listeners. And remember, if you really liked this podcast, go click subscribe on iTunes or Stitcher and leave a comment and a review. It helps other people find the podcast. And we want to grow this little thing up as much as we can. So remember, live unbroken and have a great day, guys.